Morning, everyone. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and I know many of you are probably traveling or have company or all the things that people do during the holidays. We are 4 weeks away from that day known as Christmas Day. I have a great idea. Over the years, I have seen people buy things for people, go into debt, and it not be appreciated. And it has become to the point that we have way too many things. However, the one thing we don't have too many of is books. Books can be passed down from generation to generation. Books can be read to children, can take you into a world when you want to escape reality. A good book will draw you into that world, and when you're finished, you want more. So, my suggestion this year is you check out our authors on Amazon. We have children's books, we have spiritual inspiration books, we have gothic books, we have vampire books, we have cookbooks, we have romance, we have true crime, we have historical fiction, we have paranormal, we have thrillers, we have everything except erotica. We have true stories that are filled with inspiration. So I suggest that you buy books. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to worry about if it will be read or not, because most people know what their friends, relatives, and children like to read. And the ease of it is you buy it, you drop ship it to the person and say, don't open till Christmas. Just wrap it in some paper and put a bow on it, put it under the tree. So easy. So easy. With that being said, in 4 days, on November the 30th, two books will be released by Midnight Publishing. One by Mary Brotherton, which she didn't see coming, called Ramonda's Extended Warranty. It is a fictionalized version of a true story, and it explains the life, love, and loss of Ramonda Highfield in fiction form. Also on the 30th, Carol Spiridos's second little book, Delilah the Curious Flamingo Goes to a Craft Store, will also be live. Those of you who have bought Delilah the Curious Flamingo and her Christmas Town will be introduced to Delilah's new friend. Cute little book, precious little book. I highly recommend it. Also, on the 8th of December, we have many books coming out. And if you'll bear with me, I will tell you what they are as soon as I find them. On the 8th of December, Mary Brotherton's book, A Thousand Words, and Mary Brotherton's book, hold that thought, From the Balcony. A Thousand Words comes out on the 8th. From the Balcony comes out on the 15th. On the 1st, The Real Gift. It's a debut novel by Darling J.J. It comes out. It's a children's book that talks about what is the real gift. Is it something wrapped in a pretty box? Is it something that will be broken or thrown away before Christmas Day's even done? No, the real gift is the child. And they are indeed a real gift. They are only loaned to us for a little while. On the 8th, Andrea Dean Van Scoyo's book, Witchy Weeds, comes out. In our yards, we have things we call weeds, and we kill them. We have dandelions and other stuff out there But actually, dandelions are used in fine dining restaurants, believe it or not. They are used in salads, they are cooked, they make for a good green. And Andrea talks about these so-called weeds that have been used for centuries for wound healing, for illnesses, for food. I highly recommend this little book. It comes complete with photos of these particular so-called weeds. Darling JoJo figured out how much fun it is to publish a book. So right behind The Real Gift, she wrote a book called The Slouch on the Couch. It goes live on December the 8th. This book is good for all ages, but primarily for teens, young adults, and adults, and even people my age, because sometimes we look at someone sitting on a couch and think they're lazy, and they're not. There's things going on that we know nothing about. Could be an illness they don't even know they have, could be something happened within the family, could be something at work, it could be just something internal that they're struggling with. And the moral of the story is, before you judge, sit down with them. You don't have to talk, you don't have to give advice, just sit with them. Eventually they may tell you. But this book will be out on December the 8th as well. The nonprofit that I'm working with, I will be talking to the author of the book tonight. Bless their hearts, they have no idea what they're getting into, but we're going to work through this because it is a children's book that talks about how to deal with death in the family on a child's level. It's going to be a good little book once we get through what I need, what Amazon needs, what is required. So stay tuned for that one. This morning I was on our website. We have 2,101 views and 1,227 visitors. We're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting there. Our shorts on our YouTube channel are just blowing up. I put Andrea's short up for Fallen from Shadow, Found in Grace, and went to put up An Eternity of Shadow or An Eternity in Shadow. And the first one I'd already had 16 views. So share. Go to my YouTube channel. It's Yvonne Mason and Midnight Publishing. Share this channel. Share the website. It's midnight-publishing.org. Share all of this. As indie authors, we don't have a multi-million-dollar advertisement budget. I do all of the marketing for our authors, and I am up to 20 authors. Got a new one yesterday, waiting on her to send me her book. She has 3 books that are coming to me. Elsa Ward, welcome to the family. We will be putting you up on the Facebook page as well as on our website. When I met with her yesterday, she said, I checked you out. You are who you say you are. Well, any one of these folks here can tell you, yes, I am the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I do not change. My top priority is my authors. Andrea Dean Menskoyak has many books out there that if you are into the goth scene, if you are into vampires, they're absolutely amazing books. The Two is a very dark Victorian novel, and A Man of Two Worlds takes you on a journey that you weren't really expecting. The Other vampire novels is Tales from Blackford Manor and Sundown, A Vampire's Revenge. Then she has a short story collection, and she has two spiritual inspirational books. The first one is geared toward the goth community, called Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel, and the other one is The Sacredness of Every Day, How Celtic Christianity Still Survives in a World of Modernization. I will be putting up on our YouTube channel the rest of her books geared toward the holiday season, and putting them up on the website as well. Then we have Peggy Engler, who writes Spiritual Inspiration, A View from a Pew, A Closer Walk, Food for Thought, Soulful Inspirations, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, An Encouraging Word. Alta Desanoid, her spiritual inspiration is My Soul Trust in the Lord, and I just put up the French version of that book. It comes out next month, I think on the 15th. I will go back and look. It will be in all four formats once I get it up there. Ellie Ryan, her book Secrets is doing very well. I highly recommend this book. It is about a young woman who goes to work in the Atlanta Police Department in the 1970s as a stenographer. And in the 1970s, the detectives used stenographers to take witness statements, to go on the scene and write down what they saw, write down whatever witness statements were there. But she has a second sight, gets in trouble because she doesn't tell she has a second sight. And then there is Sherry Ann Richardson's book, A Chocolate Lover's Garden. This book is a coffee table book. It is a cookbook, a history book, a gardener's book, a pastry book, a event book. I recommend this book for all ages because it can encompass a child who wants to grow a garden, a flower garden, a bush garden. It also talks about the history of the cocoa bean, which is the real chocolate, not what we buy in the stores. I'm so proud of Sherry for allowing us to put this book out there. A 25-year dream of hers came true. She also wrote Under the Dragon's Eye in high school, and it is not about a dragon. It is about a guy that wants to be a professional bowler, but there is a dragon's eye in the book. I'll leave it to you to get it and read it, or get it and give it to someone that you know that is into thrillers. Then we have Linda Humphrey's children's book, Cornfield Flyers of East Tennessee, Rose Paddock's children's book, Where's Wags, Isaac Jones's interaction book called Butler and Lester. It's a coloring book. It is a reading book, and it is also a book that a child can write their thoughts down. Mary Brotherton's children's books, If I Were a Mermaid, If I Were a Giant, and If I Were a Butterfly, started out with a child's imagination. If I Were a Giant, we are promoting as an anti-bullying book without even discussing anti-bullying. When you read the book, you will see what we're talking about. Then there's Too Many Rules by Mary Brotherton. This book teaches a child why there are so many rules in their young life. And it also talks about stranger danger within the book, but we never talk about. We never put that out there because it's subtle. It's to teach the child there are so many rules and this is why. Then Mary Brotherton's book, World's Best Grandfather. Again, I highly recommend parents buy this book so their child can give it to their grandfather. Then the grandfather can read it to the child and find out who indeed is the world's best grandfather. We have my books out there, Murder in the Village. It talks about murder in the village. It's a mobile home community where nefarious acts occur. Um, People can relate. Behind that one is Coming, Duct Tape, Tarp, and a Shovel, but I highly recommend that you read The Pink Canary, When Fates Collide, When Fates Collide, Mardi Gras Bound, and When Fates Collide, Arm Candy, and Shady Rest. Those books will give you an insight into the characters that are pulled into Murder in the Village and Duct Tape, Tarp, and a Shovel. I also have out there two historical fictions, A Voice from the Grave and A Mad Hatter. Both of those are based on real events. A Voice from the Grave takes place at Andersonville, where the last prison camp was built by the Confederates during the War of Northern Aggression. When Sherman came through and burned Atlanta and everything in between, all the way down to Savannah, he helped kill the POWs that were at Andersonville, not knowing that he was helping to kill them because Andersonville was built at the end of the rail line. Supplies could not get to that prison camp. Over 3,000 prisoners died at that camp. There were 3 women at that camp that had fought on the Union side. They were fought as men. No one knew they were women until they died. Because what happened when there was a death, they stripped the bodies so that they could recycle the clothing to those who were still alive. 2 of the women had been identified down through the years, but there was still an unknown. She is the main character in A Voice from the Grave. The second book, A Mad Hatter, is a historical fiction in that it takes place in the year of our Lord 1888 in Whitechapel. We all know what happened in Whitechapel in 1888. No, it's not about Jack the Ripper, but he makes an appearance. It is about a gentleman who owns a hat factory, and he makes those hats with mercury, and mercury drives people insane. Just saying. There are 3 true crimes that I have written called Silent Scream, The Last Rites, and Justice for Cindy. Those books are very close to me. True crime is my favorite genre to write because that is my background. With a degree in criminal justice and as a former bounty hunter, my heart goes to the victims. These books are brutal, they are raw, and they are told not from a fluff perspective. I want the reader to understand what these victims suffered, what their families suffered, and continue to suffer through this day. So if you cannot handle raw facts, court testimony, confessions, crime scene photos, descriptions of crime scenes, the inability of the perpetrators to admit their acts, then these books are not for you. I also have out there Brilliant Insanity, which my late husband was the reason for the way the killer got rid of the bodies. All I'm going to say, chum. Those of you who live in Florida know what chum is. I have a short story out there that you can download on Kindle called Blood Alley, about a long haul trucker on Highway 27. Those of us who live in Florida know it's called Alligator Alley. There's a reason for that. But they are not, alligators are not in this book. Just saying. It's a 2-lane blacktop, dark and deserted. Madness Unhinged is a collection of my short stories that I wrote when I was with my former publisher who died. Hence, this is why I'm in this business now. And I owe it all to God. Those are just a few of my books. I'm very proud of what I have written. All you have to do is Google me, you will find me. I promote my authors more than I promote myself because they are very important to me. Bonnie Clark, her book, Errol's Journey, was a very difficult book for Bonnie to put together because it is her husband's, her late husband's, journal about their journey with his cancer and his ultimate departure from this world. Carol Bellavance has written Open Hearts and Safe Haven Prayers, another spiritual inspirational book. That was her debut book. It was interesting getting her on board because she didn't really want her name out there. But since then, she has sent me a new book called Holding On to God Through Storms. That one comes out, I think, on the 15th as well, or the 20th, I can't remember. But when you get bitten by the writing bug, and it's so easy to come on board with us because I don't charge my authors. I don't charge to promote them. I don't charge to publish them. I don't charge to edit, to format, to do their covers. It's all part of paying it forward. Jason Wolfgang Gerhardt was one of the first ones to come on board with his republishing of The Ferryman. It is a paranormal detective story. If you love paranormal, you love detectives, and you love thrillers, this book will keep you spellbound. Most of our authors' books are in all four formats. Some are only in paperback and Kindle because they are too short to go into hardback. The children's books are on Kindle and paperback because we can't put them on Audible because Audible requires chapters. But when you pull up our authors, it will tell you all the formats that these books are available on. Please support our authors. They work hard at their craft. They're very proud of their craft. And to tell you the truth, I'm very proud of them. Gwendolyn Law, her book, September's Chill, is her journey through surviving and thriving through domestic violence. That was very difficult for her to put together. And I'm going to tell you, last year at this time, that book was live. And when I got to thinking about it, I started this business in June of last year. We have been in business a year and a half. And in a year and a half, we have grown exponentially. Mary Brotherton's book, Faith and Folly and Steep Steps, is out there. Faith and Folly are decisions that Mary made that might have been foolish, but faith kept her going. Steep Steps is it's a novel about a man's sexual addiction and how he overcame it. When Mary and I sat down at lunch, second week of August, she had two books up on Amazon, My Angel Book and Sally's Heart. And she was becoming frustrated because she had all of these books and files on her computer. And I said, Mary, let me have your books. Just send me your children's books. I'll do the graphics. Mary is a lot like me. It's hard for Mary to let go, but I explained to her that when you learn to let go, you have more control because it frees you up to be able to do those things that you want to do, like write. So Mary sent me the children's books, and they were up within 2 weeks. Then Mary sent me Faith and Folly, Steep Steps. They were up right behind them. Then she got visited by Ramonda, and in 2 days she wrote Ramonda's story. So yesterday or day before, she sends me an email and says, I can't help myself. I said, oh dear, what have you done? Well, now she's written a book of poetry. We didn't have a poetry imprint, now we do. So the whole purpose of this, ladies and gentlemen, is to tell you to educate you, to help you understand that if Mary can let go and trust the process and trust me as her publisher, you can too. Ellie Ryan had the same issue. She was a debut novel. She was so insistent. She didn't understand the process. We pulled her books down, and then she came back and said, I understand now. Please put them back up. So trust the process. Trust me when I say, are you married to that cover? Are you married to these graphics? I've been in this business for over 20 years. I was in this business when it was not a business. It was, you're not good enough. And I said, watch this. My first social media page was MySpace. That's how far back it goes. I see the trends. I understand the trends. In fact, today we will probably discuss that on our podcast again at 11 o'clock. So when you come on board, trust the process. Because I am not going to put anything up for you that I will not put up for myself. I am very picky about that. So with that being said, and I think I've covered all my authors. If I haven't, I humbly apologize. I will do better. Keep sending me your books. Keep buying our books. Keep supporting our indie authors, because without you, they would have no sales. Until tomorrow or Friday, I hope you all have the day you deserve. And I hope that you understand that this business, Midnight Publishing, is God-driven. He gets all the glory. Until then,